I don't know about you, but I've got all kinds of cabin fever and I'm just itching to hit the water. I've got this old Oneida sitting here, and as you can see, it's left-handed. Now, I'm not left-handed, but I know somebody is out there, so drop in the comments if you're left-handed and wave at me with your left hand. How's that? Today on the Outdoor Mentor, I want to show you how to set up an old bow and turn it into a bow fishing bow. Thanks for joining me. We're going to start with a bare bow. As you can see, I've got the bow mounted in my Apple Archery press here just to hold it where it needs to be for the best video. This is an Oneida Screaming Eagle. Okay, it would have been from about, I don't know, 86 to 89, somewhere in there. And this is actually a left-handed bow. For the purposes of today's video, I'm going to show you that all this stuff from Muzzy Bowfishing is ambidextrous, and you can convert it for a left-handed shooter, just because I can. I've got a left-handed bow, and I need to get it set up. So first things first, we need a place to mount the reel, okay? This is a Muzzy tack reel seat, all right? And tack meaning tactical. It's got a Picatinny rail mounted to the bottom of it, and it is machined out of a solid piece of aluminum. The back of the reel seat is kind of curved, and that's going to grab our riser and keep it from spinning. So first things first, I'm going to grab my bolt, and then one of the most important things is the star washer that goes with the reel seat, and it goes in between the reel seat and the riser. This is a 1/4-inch bolt, and it's kind of hard to get into, so I'm going to use just a regular L-shaped Allen wrench because a standard, a long Allen wrench or even a straight Allen won't fit. If you've got a ball socket, that's probably the best option, but I don't have one in the house with me tonight, so we're going to go with this right here. So we're just going to start the bolt in, okay, until we feel it start to tighten up and we can't turn it around anymore. Probably, yep, about there. That's about it. So now I've got to take it bite by bite. All right. So I'll take my Allen out. I'll go ahead and tighten it up, half turn at a time. It don't take real long. Now, one very important thing is I want to make sure that my reel seat is completely flat, and completely straight with my bow. Otherwise, my reel will be rocked over to one side or the other. So I want to make sure that the top's completely flat as I tighten it down. And I don't want to tell you that you can't over tighten this, but I'm really going to put the screws to it. I'm going to take a wrench here and I'm going to tighten and tighten and tighten and tighten. Okay, that's quite a bit, all right? But as you can see, it's completely stable, all right? So now that we've got my reel seat mounted to the bow and it's properly secure, I want to make sure that I go ahead and I take the front tab off the front of my reel seat, and the back one I want to loosen just ever so slightly, okay? I'm going to take my reel and I'm going to mount it up to my reel seat. But first, there's a handful of things I wanted to talk about this Muzzy XD. This is one of the most strongest things in the bow fishing world, the Muzzy XD. It's got lots of parts, lots of aftermarket parts to support it. However, the better you take care of it, the longer it will last. See this knob right here on top? This is the drag. Okay, now I've got the drag properly set. I'll just let a little bit of line out here. Go ahead and engage the reel, and by wrapping my hand around the string, okay, I can just barely pull the line out of the reel, and that's about proper to setting the drag. You do not want to just go ahead and rack and rack and rack on this knob. It'll do a handful of things. first of all, you'll tear the drag out of it. Okay, you'll actually tighten it down so tight that the bolt that goes through the drag, it will push the nut off the end of it, and then the drag won't work. Or you'll have the drag so tight that it'll be putting a lot of tension and a lot of pressure on the gears, when you're pulling on it really hard. Or you'll end up breaking the line. None of which are wanted scenarios when bow fishing. So you're much better off using the drag system the way it was intended. This is a 150-pound line. If you're breaking a 150-pound line with a drag system, chances are you're overworking the reel. It's just a matter of time before you tear one of these up. If you take care of it, it'll be a long time. But just know that the market supports this reel more than any other reel on the market. If you tear up something in the Muzzy XD, chances are the place where you buy all your bow fishing gear has got the parts to replace it. And it only takes a couple dollars and a couple minutes. You can be in here and get your reel fixed. For more on fixing your Muzzy XD, go in the description below and there will be a link to a full-length 45-minute video on how I disassemble and repair the Muzzy XD. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to mount it to our reel seat, and it just will slide right underneath the back cap. Okay, this machined bar back here in the back, and I'm going to take the front one and I will slide it over top of my front foot. Then I'm going to take my Allen and I'm going to put it right up through the base of the reel, or I'm sorry, the base of the reel seat, and I can go ahead and I can tighten it down. And that's it. I can reach back here, tighten this back one down about a turn. That's it. The reel's completely secure and as solid as it'll ever be. On most of these Oneida bows, and on most bows in general, the length of pull, what I would call the length of pull, from your knuckles to the button is going to be about right, okay? About an inch. Somewhere between 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half is what I like. I do not like to reach any further than that. It's personal preference. However, some of the other Oneida bows, the ones with machined risers, like a Black Eagle or a Stealth, the cutout in the riser will actually tilt the rod up slightly, and it will bring the reel a lot closer to your finger. So may need to utilize a washer, or maybe just pick the other reel seat. The Pro reel would probably be what I would recommend for a Black Eagle bow. So moving on, the next thing, and like I said, everything from here on out is going to be geared toward saving the gears in the reel. This is a TJE rod, also offered by Muzzy Bowfishing. This stainless rod, now this one has been powder coated in white, okay, but it will thread right into the front of the reel seat. Typically these rods are all stainless. This is something special that I've done for a different bow previously, but we'll index it into place, and then I'll take a 1/2-inch wrench and we're going to tighten it down. I want to make sure that the top of my reel is right in line with my riser, and I want to make sure that my rod is exactly in line with the front of the reel. I don't want it to be offset at all. Okay, that's pretty good and tight right there. Then I can go ahead and think about threading up my line through my reel. Now, if you haven't noticed, the reel is still in right-handed mode. All these parts that you're going to get shipped from Muzzy are going to be right-handed. But changing a reel over to left hand is no big deal at all. This one bolt right here on the side of the reel, okay, it's a flathead screwdriver. Now I've obviously went ahead and loosened it prior to make this video run a little smoother. But when you pull the screw out, you want to make sure There is a red washer, and now the newer reels have a little black rubber washer, and that is to fight vibration and fight this from ever backing out. If it were to back out, as you can see, the handle assembly will absolutely fall right out the other side. So to switch it over to left-hand mode, all I have to do is index it properly and slide it in. I'll take my screw, put it in on this side over here, and all of a sudden we've now got a left-handed Muzzy XD. So moving up the bow, it is time to mount our rest. Now, this is a Muzzy Mantis. New for 2019, the Muzzy Mantis has lost the trap door, okay? The new Muzzy Mantis 2 is now one solid piece of aluminum. But this is the original Mantis, and we're going to go ahead and mount it to our bow. First off, we got to switch it to left hand. So I'm going to go ahead, loosen up my Allen right here, and then all I'm going to do is flip this over so it's on the other side. Now this will take your Allen on your bar and move it to the bottom side. No big deal. Okay, we'll still be able to get to it just fine. All right, just to snug it down, just so it's the right way and the right shape. We're going to take the supplied bolt. Now, one thing I will say, these bolts come with a little rubber washer in shipping to keep it on there. Make sure you take that off before you assemble that. You will absolutely never get it tight enough. So I'm going to just go ahead and put my bolt in place here on the bow, and with the Allen, go ahead and tighten it down. Now, as I'm tightening down, I want to make sure that this is fairly level, okay? I don't want this tilted forward or back, and I actually want my Mantis straight up and down with the riser. As you can see, the Mantis rest here does have a lockdown screw, and by moving this back a little bit and keeping it out of the notch, we can utilize that lockdown screw, and I can go ahead and screw this till it screws into the riser a little bit, and that will make this marry up just a little bit stronger. All right. Last but not least, we're going to mount our line puller. Now, once again, this line puller has a tactical rail mount, as well as our tactical reel seat has a Picatinny rail on it as well. But by using a line puller, once again, it's going to protect your hands, it's going to protect the reel, it's going to protect all the gears in the reel and make it last quite a bit longer. Now, as you might imagine, the line puller comes with supplied hardware, and it mounts right here in the sight holes. You can mount the reel with the knob on top or on the knob on bottom. I prefer to have the knob on the bottom. Just my own personal preference, and for the sake of the video, I'll just put one screw in it to speed things along. Now, if if I get my reel, or if I get my arrow hung in the mud or something of that nature, I can just reach up here, wrap it a couple times, throw my hand around it to keep it from spinning, and then I can pull right there, and that puts all that pressure on that knob and not on the gears on the reel. Okay. One other thing that we need to consider, especially if we're going to be fishing at night or hunting large fish, is the use of a flashlight. Okay. This flashlight I found on eBay, and once again, I'll try to find one similar to it and post a link in the description. But as you can see, it's got a touchpad, okay? And it also, at the top, has a click pad where I can click it on and click it off. This particular light is about 1,000 lumens. It has one 18650 battery, You know, rechargeable, of course. I keep a couple of them recharged and in the boat. And I also like that it has a cam lever style weaver mount that will go right to my Picatinny rail. So all I have to do is throw it right up there, cam that lever over into place, and it's solid. All right. If you're shooting shallow water all the time, then maybe you want to mount it down here so you can utilize the line puller. Typically when I'm fishing and I'm hunting for large fish, I'm hunting in deeper water. So I personally like to have my flashlight up here. But what we're going to do, we're going to take our excess cord and we'll wrap it around our flashlight there. And then you got a couple of options here. You need to have your touchpad mounted to the front of your riser. And the whole reason for that is you need to be able to push the button on the back of the reel. Okay, you can hear it click with your lower fingers, and then squeeze with your upper fingers to turn the light on and off. Okay, handful of things you can use. You can use zip ties. Okay, you can go back here and go right around the base of the rest. You can use electrical tape. Just go around the riser on the cord and not on the touchpad itself. Or you can use some Velcro. Okay, put a sticky side of Velcro on there and then on the back of your touchpad, and that'll allow you to remove and apply the flashlight whenever you need to. Okay, anytime you can go into some shallows, look for ripples on the water, draw your bow, get into position, and then turn that light on to find exactly where you need to aim and kill that fish. One last thing we wanted to talk about, guys, before we leave is how to tie your line to your arrow. Now, as you can see right here on the back of the arrow, there's a small hole about 2 inches from the back of the arrow. And that's what we're going to use to tie to the back. I will go ahead and cut the packaging loop off the back of the string. All right. And what I like to do, I like to take the tail and I like to spread all 4 fingers out just like this. Okay. That will give me about a 5-inch or so loop. Okay. Then all I'm going to do is double the loop over. Pull it through just like this, just a simple overhand knot. And I'll pull it back so I've got, maybe that's a little big. Okay, that's about 4 inches, but that's okay. And then I'll go ahead and draw it down tight. As you can see, here's the size of my hand, here's the size of the loop. Okay, that's probably about 3.5 inches, maybe 4. Okay. All I'm going to do is keep my line doubled over. I will pinch it and then poke my line through the hole till it comes out on the other side. All right, just like this. Then I'm going to take that loop and put it over the arrow, twist it a half a turn, go over the arrow. And then I'm going to do it again on the other side and pull it back over the arrow. At this point, I'm done. All I have to do is pull my tail, pull my main line, and that is how we tie to the back. The main purpose for tying the string in this manner is when I blow through a fish, when the arrow goes all the way through a fish, okay? All I have to do is take my thumbnail right here and pull the line off the back of the arrow and then grab my line and pull it out. Now all I have to do is get my line out of my fish and re-thread the loop again. Okay, I'll do it real time. Okay, there's my loop. I'll split it. I'm going to go over, cross it, back over, and I'm done, okay? And now I'm ready to shoot fish again. There's no cutting and retying and, you know, having to, you know, fish a knot through there or none of that. This will always make sure that your arrow flies proper and it's easy to take on and off. Okay. All we have to do now is put a knock on this string and adjust our rest to make sure our arrows are flying properly. And for more on that, we'll post another link in the description on how to properly tune a bow fishing bow. Okay? Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that you get yourself some awesome Muzzy gear and get out on the water this summer. Enjoy it, man. It's my sport. It's your sport. I love it. Get out and kill some fish. It will for sure pass the time, and I mean, anytime you can get out, sling a few arrows at something moving, well, that's just a good day on the water. Guys, don't forget to wear those personal flotation devices, and come on back here and see us at the Outdoor Mentor. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. It's an outdoor community, and it wouldn't be the same without you.